We've got continuing coverage tonight on a deadly disease currently devastating Florida's reefs. 6 years after scientists discovered a coral disease off the coast of Miami, it's now spread to nearly all of our state's reefs, and it can be found as far away as the Dominican Republic. Well, yesterday we told you about the infection known as stony coral tissue loss, and tonight our Samantha-Jo Roth shows what's being done to protect paradise.
There isn't a whole lot of coral left in the Southeast Florida region.
3 miles off the Florida Keys, 4 scientists in a small boat are racing to stop a mysterious killer.
I think people would be very shocked to know that within 2 weeks, a small colony can be dead.
Karen Neely, a coral ecologist at Nova Southeastern University, is leading this group, attempting to slow the infection and fight to preserve what remains.
Scientists and marine biologists spend a lot of time documenting particularly declines of ecosystems, and we're actually one of the few that are lucky enough to be able to get out here and try to do something about it.
A different kind of way to start your morning.
We joined the team on one of their medical missions to treat the coral. Researcher Kevin McCauley and the group mix up antibiotics into paste, filling dozens of syringes with the concoction.
The amoxicillin, though, is obviously the really important part. That's what's doing the hard work actually stopping this disease.
Up in this area might be a good area for you to head to first.
And then it's go time.
Thank you.
This is a hands-on kind of job. Scientists apply the formula directly onto the tissue of the sick coral. Then the paste slowly releases the drug.
Just like that, right onto the face of the coral, right onto that disease margin. It's a pretty obvious disease margin. There's a big white line right up against healthy tissue on the coral, so it's an obvious one to see.
I think most of us don't have fingerprints at this point because we're applying it to the corals, but whatever it takes.
The researchers document their findings, marking when they provide treatment with nails and large yellow tags.
We go back to the coral, we look around, look where the nails are and see if there's any active disease to see if that treatment was effective or ineffective.
This is one of the most coral-dense areas these researchers treat. They've tagged up to 800 corals here, and without their intervention, they aren't sure if there would be any left.
We were out here a couple weeks ago looking for some other corals for another type of project. And as we looked around, we realized that everything here was either dead or had been treated by us.
Neely's group has been implementing this method for a little over a year, and they've seen an 85% success rate. In a disease outbreak that typically kills 66 to 100% of the corals infected, the team has lost less than 1% of the corals they've treated. But it's challenging and labor-intensive to keep going underwater for a cure.
It is exhausting. It's hard on the body. It's hard on the soul for sure. Watching your backyard disappear is really hard.
We don't know necessarily when's the next time that we'll be able to come back to the site. Weather dependent and other factors play into it, so we try the best we can to go as quickly and effectively as possible.
These 4 researchers are the only ones providing these types of unique treatments in the Keys.
It's also really hard to have to bypass certain corals because we need to focus on the ones that are the most important for the ecosystem, and just kind of swimming by an animal that is in distress and going to die and having to say, sorry, good luck.
At the end of the day, this dedicated crew compare notes and reflect on the greater mission. Researchers in other parts of the Caribbean have now started using their same method to save corals infected by this very disease.
It's a good feel-good to know that without us, this reef would look very different than it does, not just now, but 5 years from now and probably 500 years from now.
Reporting from Lou Key Reef, Samantha-Jo Roth, Spectrum, BN9.
And that treatment, discovered and implemented in the Florida Keys by the team at Nova Southeastern University, has been used to save more than 2,000 coral reefs across the Florida Reef Tract, including in Biscayne National Park off mainland Florida.